talking about guided analysis. A guided analysis visualization, it provides the cues for further analysis based on the selection that you make in your workspace. So basically, till now, we have been talking about visualization, that how can we visualize our data. Now we are talking here about the guided analysis visualization. So this guided analysis visualization, this is providing us certain cues for further analysis. Whatever selections we have made for our data, for further analyzing it, we are being provided with certain cues. That is what happens in the guided analysis. This type of visualization where we have this guided analysis structure, it helps you to identify which dimension can provide you with more information that are the most strongly correlated with your selection. So when you want to identify that what all dimensions which are there which are impacting your information, your data the most. Suppose you want to see the sale of the product overall in your country. Now you want to view the data location wise. That means you are viewing the sale of different locations, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, different locations. So out of which where the sale is maximum. So if there are certain cues provided, the sale will be shown to you of different location. Now, which place is affecting you the most? When more of the information it is being provided along with the visualization tool. So that form of visualization is known as a guided analysis. It provides you with more information for the dimension which are more strongly correlated with your selection. The guided analysis visualization in your application, it displays the dimension which are relevant to the data set. So, guided analysis visualization, why do we use it? We use it because it provides us cues for the further analysis when we get to know that what dimensions are affecting us most. So, if we get to know about the additional parameters, so using these additional parameters, we can take better decisions. We can make better planning for the organization. So that is why guided analysis visualization, it is very much important. Now, when you make a selection within a workspace, the guided analysis visualization, it displays check mark to the left and dots to the right of the dimension to show which one provides the most relevant information. So basically we have kept a proper format for this guided analysis visualization. So what do? We put a check mark on the left and we put a dot on the right of the dimension that we are analyzing. Dimension which are providing us the most relevant information. So now what does this check mark and dot indicate? The check mark that we have on the left. Check mark, they identify the dimension whose value differ from the benchmark in a statistically significant way. That is, the difference between the selection and the benchmark, it is not due to random chance. That means when we want to identify the dimension whose value differ from what we have set as a benchmark. Suppose we have said that the profit we want to earn from this particular location, it is 20%. This is what the benchmark we have set. Now this check mark, it will indicate if the value will differ. If we get to know about the check mark, we can easily identify that these dimensions, they are varying. So check mark, they identify the dimension whose value differ from the benchmark in a more significant way. So that is why we use this check mark. Now, we use the dots on the right. The dots here, they indicate the degree by which the selection it differ from the benchmark. Degree, that how much is the selection it is differing from the benchmark. The brighter and larger the dot, the greater is the difference. And the more relevant the information for the dimension based on your selection. That is, if you're finding that the right dot, it is brighter. That means there is more of the difference in your benchmark set and the value produced. So if you find a brighter dot on the right, you have to check out that this is some dimension that we need to analyze. That is, brighter the lighter dot, they will represent more useful information for you. Wherever there are lighter dots or where there are no dots, that means we are going as per the requirement. But where we find the darker, brighter dots, we can analyze that there is some difference between these two values, and we need to do the analysis of data so that we can use it for the improvement, for the betterment of our products, of our business. So that is why we use this guided analysis. Guided analysis, it provides us cues for the additional information. It provides us additional information related to our analysis of the data. The business intelligence 2 step. All the businesses, they work with the information, the data produced from your organization, numerous interior and outside sources. Business intelligence today, it is entirely dependent on the information. This information can be retrieved from the data which is produced within the organization, numerous interior and even the outside sources. We are retrieving the data from within the premises of the organization as well as from the outside of the organization, from various sources which are outside the organization. Furthermore, these information channels, they act as a couple of eyes for the leaders, providing them with the insightful data about what is the deal with the business and the market. That means this information, it is very, very much important for the leaders of the organization, for the high-end managers of the organization, because this detail only, this data only, it will provide them the way to understand their data. So this data which is being provided, the information which is being produced with the help of business intelligence tool, they provide the insightful data to the leaders, to the various managers, to the various users of the organization. Now likewise, any misinterpretation, any incorrectness or absence of data, it might prompt a twisted perspective of labeled circumstances as well as the inner task, trailed by terrible choices. That means if something goes wrong, some misinterpretation happens onto our data, at that point of time, what will happen? We may further conclude to taking some wrong decisions, making some wrong plans for the organization. So that is why we need to do the proper analysis of the data. So first of all, the data, it has to be collected from within the interior of the organization and from the external sources too. Now this data, with the help of various information channels, have to be provided to the various end users who can collect this data, who can analyze this data and take the future strategic decisions. Now, talking about another important term here, which is unstructured data. Unstructured data, it is the information in many different forms that does not follow a conventional data model, making it difficult to store and manage in the mainstream relational databases. See, today the data, it is being generated by all of us. We are using the social media, we are using various applications onto internet, we are dealing up with the different websites. So whatever we do there, we are creating some form of data. Now all this data, it is unstructured. It is in different form according to the application, according to the website you're working on. So it is all into the different form. So it makes it difficult to store and manage it in the relational database, in the mainstream relational database. So that form of data which is into different forms and which has no proper structure, it is known as the unstructured data. The vast majority of new data being generated today is unstructured, prompting the emergence of new platforms and tools which are capable to manage and analyze this data. Because we have all this data which is into the episode format, which is not following any proper rules. So that is why we require new platform, new tools to handle this form of unstructured data. These tools, they enable the organization to make more readily take advantage of this unstructured data. Because for using any business intelligence tool, we need to analyze our data. We are entirely dependent on the data. So if we just use a structured data that we've stored in a proper format, or the data which is just being generated within the organization, that will limit our efficiency. So now all this data stored at different locations, at different data sources. All this data, it has to be gathered together, it has to be converted into the proper format, and this unstructured data has to be converted to structured data for analyzing it properly. Unstructured data, it has an internal structure, but it does not contain a predetermined data model or schema. Obviously, every data that is being stored, it has to be stored onto certain structure. So this unstructured data, it will also have certain internal structure. But we are working on a proper data model. So we have to convert this internal structure of unstructured data into a proper schema, into a proper design, so that we can make usage of this data. Now this unstructured data, it can be textual or non-textual. It can be the human generated or machine generated too. That means this data, it can be in the form of certain writing, in the form of some text, or it can be in the form of images, videos, audios. It can be non-textual also when we're talking about unstructured data. The second thing, it can be human generated. There may be some person who are typing the message or writing something. So this message becomes human generated. But today we have machine generated data also. That means when we are using the data, the machine, the computer system, they are accordingly analyzing, accordingly generating the data. So there are certain data which are human generated, there are certain data which are machine generated. So basically unstructured data, it is the data which has no predefined format, which is stored as per their internal structure. And our process, the main thing of business intelligence tool is to convert this unstructured data into a proper format. Now, let us talk about the types of unstructured data. One of the most common type of unstructured data is the text. Unstructured text, it is generated and collected in the wide range of forms, including the Word document, including the email messages, the PowerPoint presentations, the survey responses, the transcripts of call center interaction, and posts from the blogs and social media sites and whatnot. Today, this text that we are talking about, the text when we are talking about which is in the unstructured form. So why is it into unstructured form? Because we may be analyzing our data which is written onto some blog. We may be analyzing the data which we have received using certain survey responses, and accordingly we have got the response in the form of text. So that can be one form of data that we need to analyze. Now there are call center interactions related to our product, so the transcripts of that, they can be another form of text which is into the unstructured form. There are number of ways in which we can retrieve, we can have this text, and because it is coming from different sources, so it is into the unstructured. Other type of unstructured data, it will include the various images, the various audio, and the various video files. So this is another form of unstructured data that we can receive. In the form of images, it can come to us. In the form of some form of audio, that means if this person he is putting some review of our product in the form of audio, so we can receive some unstructured data in the form of audio too. Similarly, in the form of video also it can be done. So we have this unstructured data into different forms. Now the next one is a machine data. Machine data, it is yet another category of the unstructured data, one that's growing quickly in many organizations. How is this machine data getting generated? For example, the log files from the websites, the servers, the networks, and the application, particularly the mobile ones. They yield a trove of activity and performance data. So this machine data is being generated by different websites. When we are working on internet, we are using different applications. So machine data is also being generated from those applications. And this machine data, it can be utilized, it can be used for the analysis, but again, this data is going to be in the unstructured format. In addition, the companies, they increasingly capture and analyze the data from the sensors on the manufacturing equipment and other IoT connected devices, Internet of Things connected devices. So this data, this unstructured data, it can be into different types. It can be in the form of text, it can be in the form of audio, video or images, and it can also be machine generated data. So today we have this unstructured data which can be into different forms. It can be into different types.